with your words like knives and swords and weapons that you use against me. You have knocked me off my feet again, got me feeling like a nothing. You.
Hey guys, happy April! So I recently got a private message from a YouTube user who opened up to me about her struggles with bullying in high school. This girl is a freshman in high school, she's at a new school, and she's being bullied by some of these girls. She doesn't really know what to do. Her mom is telling her that she needs to stand up for herself more, but it's difficult. She's afraid to talk to the school or talk to a counselor because she doesn't want to be looked at as a tattletale. I know that high school and middle school are very difficult times, and it was just really touching that someone that I had never met before felt comfortable enough with me that they could open up about something so private. So today I'm going to talk about how to deal with bullies in middle school and high school, or just how to deal with the overall negativity. So when I was in high school, I definitely had a lot of negative people in my life. I think that's something that, most people end up going through, and definitely, different people have to deal with different amounts of it. Just speaking personally, throughout most of high school, I wouldn't say that I necessarily, dealt with straight up bullying. During my sophomore year, I did have to deal with a couple of girls who I guess felt insecure and, would say negative things about me, would say things in class that would put me down and make me feel small and make me feel unintelligent. So that was something I had to deal with. I think during middle school more, I had to deal with some things. I remember 7th grade, there were a couple people in my school who, would make fun of my appearance, who made fun of me for being Asian. They would make fun of my nose. I mean, I'm not here to say that, oh, I dealt with all this bullying, so I'm the #1 person to talk to. Obviously, I do know that there are people out there who have had to deal with much tougher times than me. But at the same time, all throughout middle school and all throughout high school, I did always kind of feel like I was an outcast a little bit. I didn't have a lot of close friends, and I was never really, in the cool crowd or whatever. I completely understand what it's like to feel left out and what it's like to feel small compared to other people who try to put you down. So I know all throughout elementary school and middle school, they would always say, oh, just pretend it doesn't bother you. If you act like it doesn't bother you, they'll leave you alone. Just ignore them. And in theory, that's good advice, but I mean, through my experience, I have found that those type of things are so much easier said than done, and they don't always even hold true. I know when I was a sophomore and I had to deal with a little bit of bullying in my classes, I did try to be really strong about it. I tried to act like it didn't bother me. I tried to play it off, kind of make a joke of it, and for me, that didn't really stop it, because I think the people who were saying really mean things to me and trying to make me feel bad were doing it because they felt insecure, and maybe because, they were jealous of me or they felt threatened. So the more that I tried to pretend that it didn't bother me, the more they just got aggravated by it, so the more they tried to bother me. Sometimes when people are saying mean things about you or treating you poorly, it does bother you. And I think that sometimes it's okay to show that it bothers you, because they should feel bad about it. Well, I know in middle school and elementary school, they always talked about iMessages, or at least they did in mine, where you would go, oh, I feel upset when you do this to me. And I wouldn't necessarily do that because that's kind of cheesy. But I think there actually is something to say about that. If somebody is being rude to me, if I see somebody talking about me, behind my back right in front of me, then I am going to go up to them and say, excuse me, I heard you talking about me. You're acknowledging it. Just from a college girl's perspective, I definitely can say that it does get better. I would say that when it comes to bullying or just people looking down on me, middle school was definitely the worst, because people at that age are really insecure, they're trying to fit in, they haven't matured enough. I'm not saying that people are gonna change, make a 360 change when you get older, when you go to college, but people are definitely a lot more mature. When you're younger in middle school and, your first couple of years of high school, honestly, a lot of people don't really have anything else better to do than to put down other people, to put it bluntly. As you get, older in high school and definitely in college, people have more important things to worry about. When you're in high school, hopefully people are focused more on their grades, their activities, focused on getting into college. When you're in college, I hope to God that people are focused more on their academics and, you know, trying to get a job one day instead of putting down other people. If they're not focused on those other things and still focused on putting down others, then who cares? Because honestly, they're not going to get anywhere. I can definitely say that I have so much more going for me than some of the people who might have been rude to me in middle school or, you know, rude to me in high school. While I'm away in college in Washington, D.C., I'm double majoring, doing a lot of activities, and I have an internship right now. You know, those other people might be working at fast food restaurants. I do kind of believe in karma, and I will say that, you know, one of the girls who was really rude to me sophomore year, put me down, who made me feel unintelligent, did end up pregnant. So there's that. Moving on from that, high school is definitely a really difficult time. There's no denying that. I would not go back to high school if I could. Completely would never go back to middle school. Even though sometimes you might feel like you're not in control in middle school and high school, if you know, channel that negativity into yourself and doing better, well, that's something you can have control over, and that's something that is going to benefit your future and help you in the long run. Also, when it comes to talking to school administration or talking to the counselors, I do know that a lot of times, you know, they always say to do this, but sometimes they aren't helpful, or sometimes it can create more problems. I think when it comes to that, it really just depends what feels right to you. If you have people physically bullying you, not just verbal, but physically, or giving verbal threats, then you need to talk to somebody. That's not just school bullying. That can be illegal, and that is completely unacceptable. Another piece of advice is to find people who like you for you, who you trust, and people who you know are going to stand up for you. A lot of high school, I didn't have close friends that I could really depend on. And it wasn't until the last couple of years of high school that I did find some, you know, really good friends who I know would be there for me and I know would stand up for me if someone was being rude to me. Before I leave this video, I just want to share a couple of quotes that I really like and that I think will help you guys out. The first quote is, "When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it." And I really like this quote because it's saying that even though you are dealing with these things, even though people are being rude to you, looking down on you, that doesn't mean that you can't succeed. And in fact, it's overcoming the adversities of your life that bring the most success. And that's something that I have definitely found in my life. Every struggle, every difficult thing that I've gone through has helped motivate me to be better and motivate me to be the person that I am today. The second quote that I want to share is, "Pulling someone down will never help you reach the top." And this is just something, you know, to keep in mind when you're being put down by other people, if other people are bullying you. Just to remember that you are the bigger person. You just keep being you. You keep doing what you're doing. Things do get better, and just to try to find people who you do trust and who you know will stand up for you. I want to give a round of applause to the girl who reached out to me. I know it takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to open yourself up to someone, so I commend you a lot. And show those bullies that you don't care what they say and that you are going to succeed or reach higher than they ever will. Have a great day, guys. Keep smiling. You guys are all beautiful. Never let anyone dull your sparkle. Bye!